Brianna. Well, Brianna was born April 13, 2003. She was born in Yuma, Arizona. Her dad is in the Marine Corps, so he was deployed when she was born. Unfortunately, when Brianna was born, she was in ICU for about a week. She was born, she swallowed meconium, so she was in ICU. They sent her dad back for emergency leave, and that was the first week of Brianna's life. So I knew she was special the day she was born. Brianna has like the best personality. She's cuddly. She loves everybody. She's like my best friend. She is my best friend. So I never knew love until I saw Brianna, but everybody loves her.
I think that we're really close. I tell her everything. She tells me everything. I depend on her a lot. Not as like she's my mom, but like in the way, I don't know, certain relationships do. Yeah.
So when did you first notice something wasn't all the way right?
My mom used to be in the National Guard, and we had to go to Atlanta all the time. Not all the time, but once a month. And we came back on Monday, and I was putting on lotion. In the bathroom, and I noticed it in between my thighs, like little red blotches, but it didn't hurt or anything, so.
And what age were you at this time?
10.
When Brianna was 10 years old, I noticed little purple spots on her.
Mm-hmm.
So I took her to the emergency room the first time, and they told me they thought it was bed bugs. And I was like, oh, that's not right, because if it was bed bugs, we would all be getting bit up. So then the second time I took her to the emergency room, they said that she was having an allergic reaction to something. So they gave me an EpiPen. And I'm like, oh, I don't think that's right either. So by the time the third time I took her to, I actually got a different doctor, and they told us it was HSP, which is Henoch-Sclerotic purpura. And pretty much what it is when your blood vessels burst, which was causing the purple spots. She told us the symptoms of it. She wasn't at the bad stage of it yet. She was just having the purple spots everywhere on her arms, her legs. What happened a week later was she was vomiting, diarrhea. She had lost like 12 pounds in a week and a half. She couldn't keep anything down. She was in really bad pain. When the blood vessels burst, she was just in pain, crying all the time. So the doctor said if she doesn't hold anything down for a certain amount of time, they would have to admit her in the hospital. So they ended up admitting her in the hospital. They had to give her tons of pain medication. They had to give her to keep her hydrated. She couldn't really eat nothing just because she kept vomiting and diarrhea. So she was in the long-term side effect was kidney failure. We went to go see a kidney specialist somewhere in Florida. She was fine. So pretty much HSP is, how can I explain it? HSP don't happen in girls her age at the time. They told us HSP happened usually in younger kids, Caucasian, and males. It was very painful. Nobody wants to see their child go through any of that. As a parent, you want to feel the pain that your child, you want what they have. Because she's 10 years old, she's supposed to be living a life as a normal child. So it was very heartbreaking to see her go through that, knowing that it was nothing I can do to ease her pain other than care for her, love her, be there for her. There really is no medication that you can get for it. It has to run its course. It's a very rare thing because we had never heard of it. It's not contagious. They don't know how you can get it. It just happened in some kids. And she just happened to get it. So pretty much it ran its course. Her being in a hospital, medication pretty much to monitor her blood pressure because it does raise your blood pressure. But once she got well, she was a little better. She would have flare-ups, but she got better. Better about April 2014. We were in Georgia, and in June of 2014, my husband got orders to Idaho, Mountain Home, Idaho. So we went to Idaho. She would have the breakouts, but she was okay. Towards the end of the year, 2014, she started complaining about having headaches all the time. She was feeling tired all the time. And I was like, well, after about a month of it, I was like, let me take her back to the doctor because something else is going on.
I was in 6th grade at this time, and we had electives. And I know after PE, after our electives, we had math. So after PE, I would come back and my head would hurt and I couldn't focus on my work. Even though I was looking at it and I can understand it, but I couldn't focus. Then I'll go tell my teacher, or I'll go to a school nurse and I'll take a nap. And I'll call my mom before that or after, like, okay, my head was hurting and we figured out that my kidneys were failing. That explains the headaches, which when you have kidney failure, you get high blood pressure.
They told us when she first got better, we went to a kidney specialist, she was good, that it was a very low percent that she would get kidney failure. It was like, I can't remember this percentage, but it was a low. That it's like, it was like 40% that somebody would actually get kidney failure. So we thought we were good. But, you know, as time went on, it was like, wow, another blow. Her kidneys are failing. And she ended up falling in that range of the low percent of actually getting kidney failure. So that was another test in faith, like, wow, another thing when we thought she was getting better.
It was very vividly. We are the nephrologist, and my doctor, Dr. Bender, shout out if you ever see this, I don't know. But I remember her telling, like, your kidneys are failing, and I just broke down crying. I don't really remember the physical pain, but I know emotionally, I guess mentally, I wanted to die. Like, I was just tired of it. I was like, okay, I'm ready to die. Make it be over. Yeah.
And at the time, like, did this whole situation, as far as your faith in God, did it increase it, make it decrease? How were you in the spiritual aspect?
I felt that he was punishing me, low-key. I just didn't know why. And I was like, okay, maybe this was happening for a reason. But I know I felt really upset about it because, like, I didn't do anything. So why is this happening to me? No.
At that time, my faith wasn't where it needed to be. It was not. I had just went through a divorce a couple years before, so things were getting a little better, and then bam, this happened. So I kind of like Brianna, like, is he punishing us for something we have done wrong? What do we do to continue to have pains and struggles in life? And, you know, when is things going to get better?
You experienced kidney failure 21 years ago. Were some of the experiences Brianna expressed some of your own that you felt in your body when things were working the way they were supposed to?
Well, actually, my kidneys failed due to high blood pressure. So what was actually happening to my body was the fluids were building up because my kidneys weren't getting rid of the fluids. And I was coughing, and I had this cough and cough, and it just would not go away. And after her nagging me for a while,
now mind you, we were only dating for 3 months. So don't just think I was already nagging him at 3 months. But let me tell you, that cough, that cough was really bad.
It was. And I told her, you know what, I'm going to go to urgent care, and I'm going to have them take a look at it. I may have bronchitis, just get some antibiotics, and then go on my merry way, go to work. So I went to the urgent care, and the lady took my blood pressure with a machine 2 times, and then she took it manually, and then she ran to the back and got the doctor. Doctor came out, Mr. Scott, do you have a headache, or do you have a chest? Is your chest hurting or anything? Difficulty breathing? I said, no, just this cough. He said, well, your blood pressure was, what was it then?
270 over 190.
270 over 190. And I said, okay. He said, I said, okay, I just need to go to work. And he said, well, you're not going to work. I just called an ambulance, and they're going to take you to the hospital. And that's when I went to the hospital. And after blood work and urine, the doctor came to me and said, Mr. Scott, your kidneys have failed. And to me, anything else that he said afterwards, as far as explaining it, I did not hear. The only thing I was thinking about was, how long do I have to live? How much time do I have left? I didn't ask him that, but that's what I thought of. Because when you're going through kidney disease, from that moment on, it was faith, family, and our friends that got me through.
So when he comes home and tell you what the doctor says, or does he even come home to tell you, or you have to go
Called me.
there?
We were supposed to have a date that night.
Yes.
And he called and said, babe, I'm in the hospital. My kidneys have failed. And so when, of course I went up there, and he was in for about a week. And like I said, he was 29, I was 23 at the time. And when I picked him up to take him back to his apartment when he was released from the hospital, on the drive home, he turned to me, and do you want to share that part?
Yeah, I turned to her and I said, because I had to give her an out. I just said, you know what? You're a young woman, and I've got a long road ahead of me. So I'm going to move back to Charleston. I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm going to move back to Charleston and continue this by myself. And she said, no.
You're a good man. You're not going anywhere. I'm not going to break up with you over this. Let's just see where our relationship goes. And he said, I hoped you would say that, but I had to give you an out. And less than a year later, we were married. Here we are. Now this past January, we just celebrated 20 years of marriage. And February, yes, February, we celebrated 21 years of life since his kidneys failed. So, we couldn't have predicted all the things that have happened during that journey, but I couldn't imagine being on a journey with anyone else.
December 2014, we find out that her kidneys are failing. Of course, as finding out something like that, it's hard to take in because you don't know what to expect. You have so many questions on what do you do, how do you take care of something like this. The first step was a biopsy. So we did a biopsy January 2015 to see where her kidneys were functioning at. And I can't remember what percent they were functioning at, but it was still pretty good.
I think like 90,
It was
80.
Yeah, it was still pretty good at that time, and this was January 2015. But she did have to go on high blood medication. She did have to go on medication to prevent the kidneys from failing. She was on several medications. She has been on for a long time. Then later on that year, she felt up and down. She would feel sick. She'll feel tired. That was just the symptoms. She had to drink plenty of water. She had to eat more healthier. For an 11-year-old, that's kind of hard. His encouragement. So there was some rough parts in that. But then later on, maybe that year, she had to get another biopsy because they were failing quite fast at the time. And that one, it wasn't too bad. So pretty much the same thing, diet, exercise. She was doing pretty good, stable. We moved here 2017. She was still, we were June 2017, and she was 14 at the time, I want to say, were you 14?
Yes.
14 at the time. She was still doing pretty good. Her kidneys were slowly declining. And in that process, they were taking her off medications, putting her on medications just to prevent her kidneys from failing. But in that time, I want to say last year, November 2018, she wasn't taking her medication. Mentally, she was going through some issues where she didn't want to live anymore. She was tired of taking the medication. And in her not taking her medication, she ended up having to go to the hospital.
And then we found out I had to go to the emergency room. I had an appointment, and my doctor told me my potassium was high. I was not taking any medicine for my potassium. I don't know why it was high, but that's the reason why I got put on dialysis.